Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Well, good morning if you're in my time zone. Good afternoon if you're in another part of the world. And good evening if you're really far in another part of the world. But good to see all of you. Did you like my really deep testing voice? Testing 1 2. Hey, I'm just making sure everything is working the way it is supposed to. And it looks like it is. I think we're off to a good start. That's an English phrase we often say. We're off to a great start. I think we're good. I think we're good to get this lesson started. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson, which I've titled Before and After. I did this lesson for a very unique reason, and that's that I walked by a dandelion a couple of days ago, and it looked yellow, and then a couple days later, it was all poofy and white like that. So I thought I should do a lesson about before and after. Now, I'll explain more about before and after later, but you can see from these two pictures that definitely when you talk about before and after, it's usually when something goes from not so good a shape to much better shape. It can be a thing, it can be a person, and I will explain more later. But welcome to this English lesson about before and after. I think you'll enjoy it, so please stick around and watch the entire thing. Hey, good to see all of you. Hello to Lisel del La Peña, Ong Burma, Sai Sandy, Freddie Wolf, Just Navestigia. It's sometimes hard for me to say the names. Hafiez, Gabriela, Lily, Torahiki, Christian Franquiz, Cecilia, Etienne, Wanda, Unabi, Aerosmith. I know Unsel's in here somewhere. Sai Sandy. If I missed your name, I apologize. I'm scrolling back through the chat here. Unsel, Cecilia, Sai Sandy, John Wedge, John Agong, the other John George is here as well as John Wedge. Brent was here, but I think he had to pop back out. But it is good to see all of you. Hello to Key Park, Uliana, Paula, Michael, and Lily. I think I said hi to Lily already, but hey, welcome to this lesson. You might be wondering, why am I doing a lesson about before and after? Because it's kind of fun. I don't know if you've ever seen the before and after of different things, but this will be a fun lesson, and you'll also learn a little bit of English. So I think that will be fun. A few things before we get started. Number one, if you have a question, please use the link that is in the description below. It's also pinned in the chat over there. And I will pause every 10 minutes to answer some questions. And we'll do members only chat in about 25 minutes or so. And this lesson will be, well, we'll see how it goes, but it'll probably be a bit shorter. I do have to get going, but we'll be here for about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. So hello to Mode Eggs, who has sent a question already. Get to that in a moment. But I think I should get the lesson started. Should we do that? Yes. Let's do that. Well, I should check one more time to make sure everything seems to be working the way it's supposed to. Before and after, showing the difference between how something was earlier and how it looks or works now. So you can see here, we would call this a deck. A deck is kind of an outdoor living area. And if you look at the far side of the picture, you'll see the before. And if you look closer to me, you'll see the after. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So basically, this person's deck did not look great, and they decided they were going to refinish it or put a coat of paint on it. And so now you have a before and after photo. So before and after is a common phrase. Like if someone says, oh, I'm going to paint my car, someone might say, oh, take a before and after photo so I can see the change. So before and after, showing the difference between how something was earlier and how it looks or works now. A dandelion. So this is why we are doing this lesson, because my lawn was filled with yellow dandelions, and a dandelion is a common yellow wildflower. We actually call it a weed that later turns into a white puffball of seeds that blow away in the wind. So this isn't a traditional before and after photo, but this is what inspired the lesson. So I thought I would show you. If you have dandelions where you live, you'll know that for a little while, they're all yellow. They're all little yellow flowers. And then all of a sudden, within a day, it seems, they all turn into these nice white poof balls. And then as a kid, we would blow them, and then all the little seeds would fly off. Anyways, not a true before and after subject, but the inspiration for this lesson, a dandelion. Losing weight, reducing body weight through healthier eating, exercise, or lifestyle changes. So I'm not sure, and I do not want to comment on your weight. I will comment on my weight. I am in the process of trying to lose a little bit of weight. Over the winter, I relaxed too much. Well, I was actually spending a lot of time recovering from various health things. And so I'm a little heavier than I like to be. And naturally, I will lose weight over the summer because I do a lot more physical labor. But I've never actually taken a before and after picture. But some people who are overweight will take a before picture, and then they will go through a time where they are trying to lose weight, where they are losing weight. So they are reducing body weight through healthier eating, exercise, or lifestyle changes. And then they will take an after picture, and then you will see the difference in their body size. So losing weight is a common time for people to take a before and after photo. Getting in shape. Now, you might think this is similar to losing weight, and it can be. Getting in shape means improving your fitness, strength, and overall health through exercise and healthy habits. Probably the difference is this. If you're losing weight, you might be exercising, but you don't have to exercise to lose weight. When you are getting in shape, you might be eating healthier, but you're definitely exercising. And usually in both situations, losing weight and getting in shape, you're doing both. You're trying to eat healthier, and you're also exercising. So here you can see this gentleman's before and after photo. He is a lot slimmer and he has a lot more muscle in the after photo. So getting in shape, improving your fitness, strength, and overall health through exercise and healthy habits. Restoring a car, repairing an old or damaged vehicle and bringing it back to excellent condition. So this is something that I don't know. I know my uncle has done this. My uncle has restored a car. I don't know someone currently, though, who is restoring a vehicle. So again, when you restore a vehicle, you find it in this condition, the top part of the photo, where it might be dirty and rusty. It might not even run. Like if you try to start the car, the engine won't start. And then when you restore it, eventually it looks like this. You will clean it. You will most likely fix all the rust. You will definitely paint it. And then inside the car, you might fix all of the seats and everything else. But restoring a car before, after, repairing an old or damaged vehicle and bringing it back to excellent condition. Detailing a car. So you may have heard this word before, and it's different than restoring a car. So detailing is deeply cleaning and polishing a vehicle inside and out to make it look like new. By the way, we do use that phrase in English, inside and out. I cleaned my car inside and out because that means you are cleaning the outside and the inside. But you can see here in the before, the car is kind of dirty and not very shiny. But in the after picture, let's make it bigger yet, you can see that the car is very, very shiny. So detailing a car, if you get your car detailed, it means that someone is deeply cleaning and polishing a vehicle inside and out to make it look like new. I don't do this with my vehicles. My vehicles just get washed when it rains, and I do clean out the inside of the vehicle every once in a while, but I don't ever pay someone to detail my car. Photo touch-up. So this is something where if you have imperfections, or if the photo isn't taken in good lighting, someone might put it on a computer and use Photoshop to do some photo touch-ups. Sometimes we call this photoshopping, but I think the general term, if a photographer is doing this, is that they will touch up the photos. They are photo touch-ups. So making small improvements to a photo by adjusting color, lighting, or imperfections. So if you look at this photo on the far side, you can see the lighting is kind of harsh. In the picture closer to me, the lighting is a little more soft. I think they've also use some sort of filter on his skin to make it look smoother. And I think his hair, did they change his hair a little bit? It's hard to say. But basically, skin smoothing, color correction, remove dust. They've made the picture look better. They have taken some time to touch up the photo. Photo restoration, though, is repairing and improving old or damaged photographs so they look clear and complete again. So we didn't have this done. I had a friend who knew how to do it. We took a lot of old photos and we digitized them. We actually took pictures with our phones. We took pictures of the pictures. And then they were able to, they didn't colorize them. This one is colorized. There's another word for you. So the original is black and white and the restored version is colorized. But they were able to remove imperfections that were on the photo because of age and do some correction on that. So that was very nice. So photo restoration, repairing and improving old or damaged photographs so they look clear and complete again. They did a good job on this one. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's do some questions. Let me get a sip of water here. Let me say hi to Anna Reeve. And oh, Brent is still here. The older I get, the more I touch up. Yeah. Beauty filters. I do not use a beauty filter right now. I think, no, I don't ever, I think I had a phone once where the beauty filter was on all the time and the thumbnails looked weird. Okay, let me get a question on the screen here. I'm losing track of what I'm doing here. Unsel. Hi, Mr. Bob. I'm not laughing at Unsel. I'm laughing because I've already pre-read the question. Do you still remember how you felt during your very first live stream? What is the biggest difference between the teacher and the teacher today? Oh, that teacher and the teacher today. Yeah. So I did my first live stream from school. Our internet at home was not good enough for me to live stream from home. And I remember, I think there were only 2 or 3 people. It's still online. You can go back and find the very first live stream. I think only 2 or 3 people were there. And I think I was just surprised that people were watching. And I didn't have good lighting. I didn't have a good microphone, but I enjoyed it. Judith says, hi, Bob. How many meanings can you use before and after in a sentence? Thank you. So before simply refers to the time in advance of something happening. Like before this live stream, I had breakfast. Before breakfast, I went for a walk. After my walk, I had a shower. So it's just used to place you in time. So multiple meanings, not really, but definitely, I'm trying to think. Before, like I drink water before I eat my breakfast. Yeah, they're just 2 really nice words to place, like to indicate what place in time something is happening at. Mode, for real. Do we know it's mode for real? We think it is. Hi, Mr. Bob. Why is there a surprisingly huge number of dandelions on your farm this spring? I don't think I have seen a yellow blanket in your videos before. I'm not sure why, but there were a lot. I think conditions must be right for dandelions. We spent the end of April and the first 2 weeks of May. It was very cool. It was very cloudy. It was very rainy. And I think that favors dandelion growth. I haven't researched it, but that would be my guess. Let's see here from Unabi. Hi, Mr. Bob. Just fun fact. There's no such a phenomenon as time in the universe. Everything we have is an entropy rising measurement, which we interpret as time flowing. Don't understand what Unabi is. Sorry, I am not smart enough to understand what Unabi is saying. But in my perception, the entropy rising measurement, I'm definitely interpreting that as time flowing for sure. Great information though. Judith, hi Bob. Can earlier take the place of before? Can you say a sentence? So earlier today, I went for a walk. So I'm not saying if it happened in relation to something else. So earlier today, I got up. Earlier today, I went for a walk. So I'm not telling you the order that it happened in. When I use before and after, I'm placing things and comparing when they happen to other things, right? So before this live stream, I checked my email. Before I checked my email, I had breakfast. If I want to talk about all those things individually, I can just say earlier I had my breakfast. Earlier I checked my email. And then you don't know which one happened first. And then from Judith, hi Bob, can later take the place of after? Thank you. So later today, I'm going to go to the grocery store. Again, it doesn't tell you when that happened in relation to me going to work. But if I say after work, I'm going to the grocery store, then they are connected together. Hey, I should do a check here to make sure everything is working. There we go. Yes, everything is working the way it is supposed to. Let's see. Geta Helena. Which title should I use for me? Ms. or Mrs. Unmarried with kid. When I was at school, it was clear. Before marriage and after. How did English transform these terms now? Pretty much all of my colleagues use Ms., MS, whether they are married or not. Some use Mrs. if they are like married, but it's more common just to use Ms. I think because Ms. covers both now. So I'm not sure what the proper answer is to that, but I will just say most of my female colleagues go by Ms., like MS. MS is, I think, more common. I'll have to check that today. I know some older colleagues still use Mrs. William, how can we explain before, after in work area, for example, about a job title? So you could probably describe it like this, like before I became a manager, I just worked on the assembly line. Before I became head cashier, I was just a normal cashier. And now I am a regular a head cashier. I'm in charge. William, how can we explain before and after with the case there are two more things? Should we use a superlative? So in this lesson, I'm really only talking about one thing or one person. And the concept of before and after would be, before he went to school, he had a job. After he went to school, he got a better job. So we are in there using comparisons, but I don't know if I would use more than two things in the lesson I am teaching. I hope that made sense, William. Let me see here from McKella. Hello, Bob. This is a deep question. Which experience marked a before and after in your life? Meeting Jen and marrying Jen has had a profound effect on my life. Before I met Jen, I was a different person. And after I met Jen, I was a better person. There, that's how I would say it. Peter says, I'm Mr. Wise Teacher. I don't have a question to say, but your live stream is so unique. You have a blessed day. Thank you. You too. I hope your day is going really, really well. From Judith. Hi, Bob. The other meaning of usage of after is next. Can you give an example? If you list a number of things you're going to do later today, that's where after can mean the same after can mean next. So let's put it this way. After this live stream, I'm going to have a snack. After I have a snack, I'm going to go to work. After I get to work, I'm going to prepare my lessons. After I prepare my lessons, I'm going to teach a class. After I teach my first class, I'm going to teach my next class. So you can use it to talk about a whole series of things happening in a row. That's a good example, by the way. Let's see here from Azad. Hello, how are you, Bob? I really love your live streams and I'm waiting for you to go live. Oh yes, this must be an earlier comment before I actually clicked the go live button. From Alex. Hi, Bob. Before I started watching your channel in early 2020, I couldn't understand everything you said, but afterward I was able to speak well enough to communicate. That's a great before and after. So before you started watching my channel in 2020, you had trouble understanding. And after you've watched me for a while, you can understand what I'm saying. Very cool. That's awesome. Let me have a sip of water here and we will get back to the lesson. Gata says, thank you for your answer. I had to fill in the form recently, and this question about the title tricked me. Ah, yes. Yes, Bob did label the dandelions as a weed. I did, yes. We definitely call them a weed here. Okay, let me get back to the lesson slides. a renovation. So the short form for this is reno. I'm going to do some renos on my house this summer, or he's doing a reno right now. And a renovation is the process of improving or updating a room, building, or space to make it newer or work better. So you can see here, by the way, I would have been really happy with the before kitchen. I don't know if I would have changed much, but the after definitely looks more modern. So often when people do a renovation, they will take a before picture. They will take a picture before they do the renovation, and then they will take a picture after, and then you will see the difference. So a renovation, the process of improving or updating a room, building, or space to make it newer or work better. So Jen and I don't do a lot of renovations, but that does look nice, doesn't it? New floor even. I'm not sure I like the gray cabinets though. Now, you might be wondering, what is the difference between a renovation and a remodel? Technically, there is a difference, but we use the words interchangeably. So a remodel, changing the design or layout of a room or building to create a different look or use. So someone might say this: we're doing a renovation this summer. Oh, what are you doing? Well, we're going to remodel our kitchen and remodel our bathroom. So in that sense, they are the same thing. I think a remodel more specifically refers to when you change how everything looks and you change maybe how some of it works, but I use the words interchangeably. Okay, so a renovation, you're changing something in your house so it looks better. A remodel, you're changing something in your house so it looks better. I should read this again though. A remodel, changing the design or layout of a room or building to create a different look or use. Cleaning your house. So sometimes people will take a before and after photo when they're cleaning their house. Cleaning, of course, is removing dirt, mess, and clutter to make your home neat and organized. I need to do that in the room behind me. You can't see all of the mess because all of the mess is on this side of the camera. But I will at some point get to cleaning up this room, maybe once the school year has ended. Decluttering. This is similar to cleaning, but mostly it has to do with getting rid of unnecessary items to create a cleaner and more organized space. So cleaning is simply putting everything back where it's supposed to be, maybe wiping things with a cloth and some cleaner, maybe mopping the floor. Whereas decluttering has two things that are happening. You are getting rid of things, like you're thinking, okay, I don't need this anymore, and you get rid of it. You no longer have it. And then you're also organizing. So decluttering, getting rid of unnecessary items to create a cleaner and more organized space. They did a nice job on this closet. Our closets look a lot more like the before, and I wish they looked a lot more like the after. I think they bought some closet organizers too. Like there's nice baskets at the bottom, and then it looks like on the door, they put some shelves right on the door. That's kind of cool. I should do that in one of our closets. Refinishing. Restoring the surface of furniture, floors, or objects to make them look new again. So if you have a hardwood floor, you might refinish your hardwood floor. You might sand it with sandpaper and then put stain and lacquer or whatever people put on floors. If you find an old dresser like this one, maybe you find an old dresser and it's made of really, really good wood, but it doesn't look great. You might decide that refinishing it is a good idea. So you're going to sand it and maybe paint it. In this case, it looks like is that the same dresser? It is the same dresser. Yeah. It looks like they put feet on the bottom and they replaced all the handles and they painted it white. That's pretty nice. That's a nice dresser. I like I like the after a lot more than the before. But refinishing, restoring the surface of furniture, floors, or objects to make them look new again. A makeover. So a dramatic improvement in appearance, style, or condition. So when you get a makeover, you will have things about you that are changed. You might have your hair done differently. In this case, let's look at what has all happened here. So she has gotten a makeover. Obviously, her hair looks different. So she probably had her hair trimmed and her hair looks a little more alive now. She's also, I think, wearing a bit more makeup. But have you noticed something? Whenever you see pictures, before and after pictures, when someone gets a makeover or when they've lost weight or when they're in shape, they're usually not smiling in the before, and then they are smiling in the after. And people always just look better if they're smiling. So I think it's a little bit of a trick sometimes, but I think what she's done is she has a little bit more makeup on. She's smiling. She has had her hair done. She had a little bit of a makeover, so now she looks better. So a makeover, a dramatic improvement in appearance, style, or condition. Your vision, your ability to see clearly. So sometimes people can't see clearly, and it's hard to take a before and after photo of this. But if you don't have glasses, and when you look at things, it looks like the far picture, it's kind of blurry and not very colorful. Then after you start wearing glasses, it might look vibrant and it might be in focus. So you might describe it as, before I had glasses, everything was blurry. Before I had glasses, it was hard to read things. After I got glasses, I can now see clearly. Everything is in focus and it's really, really nice. This is what happened to me with reading glasses. Like, I slowly but surely realized that, oh, see, I can read. My microphone says Maono. So yeah, I can't read that now. So in order to read, I do need reading glasses. So before I realized that, everything was blurry. And then after, everything was much easier to read. Your fluency. So you might have a before and after fluency story, which is your ability to speak or use a language smoothly, naturally, and confidently. So I got some images here. Maybe before you started watching YouTube videos to learn English, your speed was really low. Maybe you couldn't actually understand speakers at full speed. Your accuracy when speaking was low and your confidence was really low. But after a couple years of watching English teachers on YouTube, your fluency is now really good. So your speed is awesome, your accuracy is better, and your confidence is higher. Sorry, I got confused there because under this style, it should say speed, not after. So I think it got a little confused making the image. But yes, your fluency, that is your ability to speak or use a language smoothly, naturally, and confidently. You are fluent in your native language, and you are looking to be fluent in the language you are learning. That is everyone's goal. Plastic surgery. So this is medical procedures that change or improve a person's appearance or repair physical damage. So when you have plastic surgery, a doctor actually, like, it is a surgery. They will do things to make you look younger. Usually that's the goal, to look younger. Although you might have plastic surgery after having an accident. Maybe you have an accident and you have a scar or some damage to your face that you would like to reduce or remove. You might then have plastic surgery. So medical procedures that change or improve a person's appearance or repair physical damage. So you can see here, she has had basically, in English too, we sometimes say they had work done. So she probably had plastic surgery on her neck area. That's my guess. If she was smiling in the second photo, we would be more impressed with the plastic surgery. But again, plastic surgery or getting work done. So you might hear this on an American or Canadian TV show. I think he had work done or she had work done. So that means that they've had plastic surgery of some type. So once again, medical procedures that change or improve a person's appearance or repair physical damage. Dental work, treatments or procedures done to repair, improve, or maintain your teeth. So here we have another before and after. So before, you can see that this person's front teeth are chipped and they're not even. And then in the after photo, you can see that all of their teeth are very white and straight, and the front two have been repaired. So this is a before and after photo of dental work. Treatments or procedures done to repair, improve, or maintain your teeth. Hey, let's go to members only chat mode. Let me get that turned on for a moment. Let me get to the right spot and we will go to members only chat mode. If you don't know what members only chat is, I will explain it in a moment. This channel allows you to be members. Members are people who pay a small amount every month and they get extra stuff. I get money that I can use to improve the equipment I use to make videos. It allows me to buy cameras, pay for my internet connection, improve my internet connection, which, knock on wood, has been really solid since the upgrades I did earlier. So I appreciate members because they help me run this channel. It directly goes to buying things that make the channel work better. What you get, because I don't think you should just give me money without getting something. You get a Monday lesson plan with some reflections and ideas for the week of how you can improve your English. You get an extra video on Wednesdays called Wednesdays with Bob, where I walk around for 3 minutes and talk about random topics. You get your name in green during the live stream, and you get a little crown beside your name during the live stream as well. So if you are considering membership, there's a link. It says join or subscribe plus somewhere. Find that. There's a little video explaining things and you'll understand a bit more. But I'm going to do a few questions from the queue, and I'm going to do some questions from the chat, and we will continue with the lesson in about 5 minutes. Let me have a sip of water first, though. From Eamon. Hi, Bob. Could you please elaborate a little bit on the synonyms of before and after informal usages, such as prior to, ahead of, following, etc.? So the interesting thing with English is there are formal phrases, but they aren't always used at work when you would expect them to be. When I'm at work, my boss might say, before the meeting, make sure that you research this topic. Or my boss might say, hey, prior to the meeting or ahead of the meeting, you should research this topic. So I would say, even though they sound more formal, you're more likely to run into the informal, like before and after. Hopefully I'm explaining that fairly well. But you will hear phrases like that, like prior to graduating, students must complete 30 credits. Ahead of the class trip, students must fill in a waiver form. So you do hear that language, but I bet you more often you'll just hear before and after informal language. Let me just check something here. From Unabi. Okay, another interesting fact. Our watches on the Earth and in the deep space show a different time, even if they were starting at the same moment. Did you know that? I did know that. There's some theory of relativity where if you fly away from the Earth at a certain speed, time goes differently for you. It's related to gravity, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. Okay, from the chat, let me just scroll back here. Marco sent one Learn English with Bob the Canadian gift membership. Thank you, Marco, for doing that. And Meet was the person who received that. Sorry, I need a drink of water there. I am also going to give away a gift membership. Let me do that for a moment. Membership gifting. One gift membership coming up. Hopefully all of the windows open. I'm clicking the buy button now. And someone should be getting a membership as we speak. So Ken received a gift membership from me. By the way, if you are a member, and if you go to the posts section of this YouTube channel, you will see all of the members only content. Okay, let me see here. Where are the questions? Here we are. Okay. Sometimes the questions scroll by too quick. From Cy Sandy, sometimes I feel before is better than after, especially when I have a bad haircut. Yeah, I've had that too. When I watch renovation shows on TV, sometimes I like how the house looked before. Key Park says Bob's channel is worth we pay for him to be a member. Thanks, Key Park. I appreciate your support. Know that says, and we all appreciate you, Bob, regardless of being a member, subscriber, viewer, etc. Thanks for being awesome. You are welcome. John says, John Wedge, hey, Bob, no questions today. As always, having fun and learning. Always keeping to that maximum of learning 1% a day and reaching 365% by the end of the year. Yeah, every little bit counts, step by step. Like, it's amazing when you commit, like even something like exercise. If you just commit and do it every day, you will notice changes. Know that. Hey, Bob, what are your plans for today or this weekend? Are you going to go out and about or just enjoying some relaxing family time at home? A bit of both. I am heading out tomorrow night to visit family. But mostly it's starting to feel like the end of the school year is near. And before that comes too quickly, I need to get some schoolwork done. That's my plan. Hafiz, that's time dilation. Amaze, amaze, amaze. Yes. So time dilation is when time moves differently for different people. And amaze, amaze, amaze is from the movie Project Hail Mary. John Wedge says, know that. I hope you'll be able to rest a little bit this weekend, my friend. Yes. Sai Sandy. Yeah, it sounds like know that. Busy week, probably. Sai Sandy, I see most of the before and after pictures in plastic surgery advertisement. When I saw this topic, these advertisements just came to my mind. I wonder if some of them are photo touch-ups. I wonder that too. Like, I wonder in the world we live in with Photoshop and photo touch-ups and AI imagery, whether everything we're seeing is real in that sense. Okay. Know that. A personal question, Bob. What was something you first thought would be a big change for you, but then it didn't turn out to be one? That's an interesting question. I'm trying to think. I've bought things before that I thought would change my life. Probably the biggest thing would be we bought like a little sandwich maker for the kitchen where you can put bread in and then close the lid and then it browns both sides, and it wasn't that great. We used it a few times and then we sold it to someone else because it wasn't that useful. I'm not sure if that's the kind of answer you were looking for, but that's one. No, that says, speaking of the end of the school year, Bob, if you don't mind me asking, do you have any other plans for your summer break in the meantime? My biggest plan for the summer is to put up the hammock. No, I am planning to do that. My biggest plan for the summer, I think, I have a little project I'm working on. Some of you, if you see the fence in the background, you'll see my little test situation. But just to have a good summer. Last summer, my summer was kind of taken away by having a broken collarbone and recovering from that. So I'm really feeling the need for a break. Was it like a panini press? It kind of, but it took regular bread slices. And then in the advertisement, they were making like little pizza pocket type things with normal bread, but they just tasted like bread with pizza toppings on it. So yeah, it wasn't great. Sai Sandy, in some historical buildings, maybe the before attracts people than the after. Yes, we have in our area where they try to preserve old buildings, where they don't want to have too many changes made, which I think I agree with. Okay, I'm just going to check to make sure that I got all of the questions in the chat. You guys can keep asking. I just want to make sure I didn't skip anybody. So before the plastic, yes, I got that one. Got that one. Got that one. There we go. Okay. No, that says, I read about the severe thunderstorm that was predicted for your region, Bob. I hope it passed you by and didn't cause any major problems in the area. So this was 2 nights ago. So we are all ready for a really bad storm. And then it started and then it ended like a minute later. You'll see some of it in Jen's video coming out on Sunday. We've had much worse. So this was not as crazy or bad as we thought it was going to be. So, okay, let me see here. I'm going to turn off members only chat. I'll still answer member questions, but let me just turn that off. And then let me read back here a little bit. Yeah, so, we were ready. We had all the doors closed. We had everything, weights on things in the field that could blow away. I charged up my battery packs in case the power went out, all the normal kinds of things. And then it was a storm, but it wasn't too bad. Freddie says, Bob, no question today. I'm just watching this interesting lesson. After, I will be smarter than before, for sure. Great use of the words before and after. And I'm glad you're enjoying the lesson. And let's finish this off. I'm not in a huge rush, but I do need to get this done and head out. Reupholstery. So that's a very hard word to say. I had to pause. Reupholstery. So upholstery is putting fabric on furniture, and then reupholstery is putting fabric on old furniture. Replacing or repairing the fabric and padding on furniture to make it look new again. So if you found an old chair, you might decide that you want to make it look a little more modern. And so you might decide you're going to do some reupholstery. Reupholstery. Did you get that? And so you would take all the fabric off, maybe take the padding out, and then you would redo it. Here you can see the wood of this chair has remained the same, although they may have refinished the wood and then reupholstered the chair. So possibly both of those things are happening there. But reupholstery, replacing or repairing the fabric and padding on furniture to make it look new again. I'll try to say the word slow, but I think I'm going to mess up the pronunciation. So here's the normal speed, reupholstery. So the slow version would be reupholstery. I'm really mushing stuff together there, but that is how you would say it. Yard work. Outdoor tasks like mowing, gardening, trimming, and cleaning around a home. And you can see here, this person went a step further. Rather than just cleaning up, they actually did some improvements. So they built, looks like some raised beds. I keep pointing the wrong way today. Some raised beds. The fence is the same, but they built some raised beds. They put some gravel down. So they have a nice before and after photo of that yard work. Okay, there's also another thing similar to before and after, and it's called then and now. So then and now is comparing how something or someone was in the past with how it is today. And this is normally after years of change. So you might see pictures like this on the internet where they show a street from a city from many, many years ago and the same street today. So here's a then and now of a street. I'm not sure where this street is, but you can see in 1971, there were a lot of cars on the street, and today it's all bikes. So they must have decided that this is a car-free zone. So only bikes and people walking are allowed. But here you have a then and now, 1971, 2020. And then sometimes it is a neighborhood and sometimes it is a celebrity. So here we have a then and now picture of another neighborhood. You can see a long time ago, it is the same house. Yeah, I think it's the same house. You have to be careful with these then and now photos because sometimes it isn't the same. But you can see in the older picture, there are no cars. And in the newer picture, there are cars. And then you might have a then and now picture of a celebrity. So here we have Matt Damon. You can see in the far picture, he is much younger. This must be 30 years ago. And then this is a more recent photo. So this is a then and now of a celebrity. So then and now, comparing how something or someone was in the past with how it is today or how they are today. So a neighborhood, a celebrity. Hey, I know that seems short, but that is the lesson for today. I am going to spend a bit of time answering questions, and then we will wrap this up. From Unsol. What is the kitchen's before and after look when you try a new recipe? Thanks a lot. You're awesome. Bye. So new recipes are fun right now. My son is experimenting with sourdough bread. So he has his own sourdough starter. So there is a bit of a before and after with that. Before he uses the kitchen, it's really clean. After he uses the kitchen, he's pretty good at cleaning up, but I don't want to make too many comments about that one. From Miller, sir, I just want to know from you if just a smile could be a makeover. Hee hee. In some ways, it's not, we wouldn't call it a makeover, but I feel like when people smile, and if it's a genuine smile, it just makes them, it's easier to be around them and to enjoy their company. Yes, smile goes a long way. I wouldn't quite call it a makeover, and I see you're saying hee hee, right? Because it's a bit of a joke, but yeah, a smile is the cheapest makeover. From want to know how it feels before and after going on a date. Have you ever dated someone? Well, yes, I dated Jen, obviously a long time ago. So going on a date, the before and after feeling can be completely different depending on how well the date goes. If two people go out and they have an enjoyable time together, they will leave the date feeling very happy. But if they go out and they don't connect, they don't click, sometimes we say in English, then the date would not be as fun. From Hasham, Hi, Bob, sir. What if you got a time machine? Where would you like to go in time? I don't know if I need, yeah, I think I would want to see my grandparents living in the Netherlands, my great grandparents, my great great grandparents. I'm not getting emotional, by the way. I'm just, it would be really fun to see how my family lived in previous eras. From Judith, which sandwich, beef or chicken? Both. Why not do both? From Know That, what do you think, which is more worst, a sandstorm or snowstorm? I don't think this is the real Know That, by the way. This is an imposter Know That. What do you think is worse? I think a sandstorm is worse because I am not used to sandstorms, but I am used to snowstorms. I love snowstorms. You can go out in a snowstorm, but in a sandstorm, it's gritty and there's sand everywhere, and I wouldn't really enjoy that. So thank you for the question. Let's see here. Asham. Hi, Bob, sir. Please show your old pictures so we can compare then and now. There is a video on my channel, and I forget what it's called. Let me see here. I'm doing a search on my own channel. No, I guess it's not that one. I don't remember the topic, but there's one where I do show pictures of myself as a child. If you dig it up, I'll try to find it myself. And then from Christian, how did your house look before and how does it look now? So when my parents lived here, my parents built this house in the early 80s. A lot of the colors inside were a lot of browns and tans. And since Jen and I moved here, we have repainted a lot of rooms like a nicer color, like a light gray or a light green or a light blue. That's usually the kinds of colors that we like. So that's the difference between before and after. Hey, that's it. I think it's time to go. Okay, I do really have to go. So I'm going to wrap this up. I know it's only 9:15. A couple of things before I go. Number one, do please consider becoming a member. Your support helps me run this channel. It also helps me work less at work and work more on YouTube. Number two, this lesson will come out, a shorter version will come out in 2 days. I will remove all of your questions and it will just be a straight lesson on before and after, 23 slides where you'll learn all of the words and phrases. You will also have subtitles if you need to turn them on. You can also just listen to it. I highly recommend you re-listen to everything you watch on YouTube to learn English a second or third time, not just my videos. And you don't have to watch the video. You can listen to it while you cook supper, ride the bus, ride the train, drive in your car, go for a walk, go for a hike. Just repetition is a great way to learn things. So, and that's it. I'll see you Tuesday with another English lesson, and I'll see you next week with another live lesson. So bye. Have a great day. I gotta run, so I'm gonna run this time. Bye.